Hey guys, it's Liz and welcome back to my channel. As you can tell, I'm filming from my car because my studio is currently packed up because we are expecting major floods to come to our house. Well, not come to our house, but we're expected to be evacuated. So the worst case scenario, we've just moved everything up so we've moved everything up to a safer spot so it doesn't get flooded if the water does happen to come into our house. So yeah, today's shoot is a bit of a spontaneous one as we're just going to go out today and essentially just take some photos of the floods that are happening in the local area in the Hawkesbury here, and I'll also film some footage for you guys to see. So it's actually pretty amazing. I already went around this morning just to kind of scout little areas that I want to come back to photograph to you. So I did a little bit of planning for today's shoot, but honestly not much because, in all honesty, the video that I had planned today just went absolutely out the window the minute that I heard that the electricity might be cut off today and we might be evacuated at any minute. So I'm pretty much packed up ready to go. I'm just going around filming while we're waiting for the evacuation notice. Hey guys, so if you don't already know, I actually live in the Hawkesbury area, and at the time of making this video we are experiencing some pretty heavy floods. So today's video kind of went out the window because currently my studio is all packed up with everything put on higher grounds just in case we do experience a flood. I mean, I don't think we will, but it's just a precaution. My partner Mark and I have actually packed our bags just in case we do get evacuated, because we are actually waiting for SES to come knocking on our door saying that we do need to evacuate, because where we are, we're actually positioned on a higher ground, so it's all nice and fine. We're not actually going to get flooded unless it gets really bad, but we might actually become a bit of an island, which might be tricky because we are expecting our power to get cut off and we might not be able to get out, and likewise SES might not be able to get in to rescue us if need be. So we're waiting to be evacuated. So I thought for today's video I'd do a bit of a spontaneous thing where I just drive around to all the local areas which are flooded at the moment, show you guys what it looks like, and make a bit of a documenting video of this year's 2021 floods. So it's actually really bad this year. It's worse than last year, and they're comparing it to the 1961 floods. So I'd definitely love to get some comparison shots today. So it'd be a nice documentation to kind of keep and compare to previous years and compare to future years, I guess, as well. And personally for me, I'd love to be able to have these kind of photos to show my kids in the future, to be like, hey, we survived the 2021 floods and this is actually what it looked like. And because I reckon it's just absolutely breathtaking to think that at some point all this stuff was underwater. So my boyfriend's currently at home. I'm just sitting in the car park before I head out for today's shoot. So he's at home keeping an eye on all the alerts and stuff while I go out and do some shooting. Today I will be shooting on my D3400, so I'll roughly go through the settings with you now because I'll be honest, I'm still quite nervous about filming in front of other people, so I don't want to set up my tripod and be talking to my GoPro while there's other people around, because I feel like they just give me weird looks and I'll just completely stuff up what I'm saying, or I'll just act like a complete fool. So kind of doing all this talking spiel stuff now just to get over and done with, so when I'm out there I can shoot some like B-roll and I don't have to do any talking to you guys. Basically, because it's a very overcast day, like you can't even see the sun, it's just, the sky is like pure white. Is it cloudy? Yeah, it's definitely cloudy. Like it's just covered in cloud, like it's got cloud coverage is what I'm trying to say. So basically the ISO that I'd be looking for is probably 400. The shutter speed depends if I'm like where I'm shooting. If the water is quite stagnant, I won't need a very fast shutter speed, so I'll probably keep it at 125. But if I am shooting fast flowing water, then I'll probably want it a little bit faster, so I might try 1000. But again, I'll see how that goes with the ISO and the low light settings, because obviously with a faster shutter speed I might not be able to get as much light in. So I'll have a fiddle with that, but as I'm doing the B-roll, I'll definitely put up like the settings that I use for each photo, just so you guys can follow along. So the photos that I'm going to get aren't going to be pretty, so it's more documenting, so which I guess is still also an important form of photography, because like I said, people have never seen this stuff before. So, and I'm sure if you were to Google right now like 1961 floods, you'll see images of just like water absolutely covering these houses, and you can only see the roof just on top, and it's quite, it kind of takes you back, because you're like, oh my gosh, like they're people's houses that are completely submerged. Like it really gets you thinking, and it kind of makes you grateful for what you've got and for the times when the weather is actually good and not currently flooding. So I guess in that respect, I do encourage to go out and do these kinds of photo shoots, but if you are going to do stuff like this, obviously be careful, listen to the authorities, and don't go across barricades or do anything stupid or put yourself in harm's way or in danger just to try and get these types of photos. So just, you know, stay safe, stick to areas where you are allowed to go, stick on level ground, don't try and go anywhere muddy and slushy, otherwise you'll end up slipping, damaging camera gear, hurting yourself, obviously more importantly, and just don't be stupid about it. I mean, at the end of the day, like, the rules that are out there, there's barriers and stuff out there for our protection, they're there for a reason, so just don't disobey them and be smart about it. But yeah, so in this respect, things like composition, like I would like to try my best to like compose my images to still try and make them look pretty, but at the end of the day, I wouldn't be surprised if a lot of my photos that I take today are just your typical click and snap photos, because I won't be able to get down to the kind of position that I want to get my desired shot. So I might be better off, so I might have no choice but to just simply stand, point and click, because it's just the safest spot. Oh yes, it'll also be my first time using, let me just get it out for you. So it'll be the first time I get to use this little DIY rain cover that I made for my camera. So that'll be exciting. We get to use this today. We'll see how it goes, and hopefully it won't flood my camera. I probably shouldn't be crinkling that as I'm speaking, sorry guys. But yeah, actually I might put that on it now. So for anyone who is new to my channel, I'll actually put a card to this video on how to make your own DIY cover. It's actually really cost effective. It didn't cost me a single cent, and I used it from household items. So I'll pop this up here so you guys can watch the video and have a look. Of course, safety is one of the biggest things when going and doing these kinds of shoots, especially in bad weather, which at the moment it's just been raining for well over a week now, so everything is muddy and sloshy. So I've got a high-vis jacket on, I've got warm clothes underneath, and I've got some boots on, so if I go walking through mud, I'm pretty much safe. I went out earlier this morning and I was wearing just like normal running sneakers, and they got absolutely drenched and my feet got wet, so I've since changed to boots. Alright, that's enough from me now. Let's go out and take some photos. So note to self, everything's going to get drenched, all your camera gear, everything. Like, I am just wet. My hands are wet. I can't get them dry anymore. So everything I touch just gets wet. Of course, constantly wiping my camera lens and my GoPro lens to try and, oh my god, to try and keep it dry and get all the droplets off. So I apologize if that footage that I just took then came out really crappy because there was all water smears on it, but I try my best to keep everything dry. So that first spot we were just at is called the Hawkesbury Valley Way, which you can see just on my maps here. Oh, hope that's not too blurry. So basically it was just that little area there. I'm parked over here at the hospital and I just walked on over. It was actually quite a nice spot in that the way that the bridge was facing and the angle that I was on, it created like the leading line which will direct the viewer into the shot, and also there was some like paddock fences which also created like a bit of a zigzag which also created like leading lines. So it was a bit of play, you know, with lines and stuff like that and leading the viewer into the shot. So hopefully they turned out alright, but I'm a bit worried that there was like a few little, I wasn't even sure, like I think there were like little sheds in the paddock, which I'm not too sure if that'd be too distracting from like the flood like underneath the bridge and stuff like that. So I guess we'll just have to see how it turns out, but I mean, unfortunately you can't really get much closer without it being too dangerous. Like everywhere else is either completely flooded, like the whole around the bridge is just obviously flooded because that's the reason why there's a bridge. So I can't really get much closer than that, and anything else I'm pretty much dead on. Actually, let's head on back down here towards the hospital. It's actually a nice part where it is pretty dead on. We'll see what that looks like. We'll go shoot there. Awesome, see you in a sec. So we have a bit of a problem. I think my camera's getting a little too wet because it's starting to do something funny. Like with the autofocus, you know how it's like the little beep beep when it's like focused, it's the beeping isn't as beepy anymore. And I'm wondering if I'm actually starting to get a bit of water in my camera. So I might just take some time to see if I can get some of the water off. I was using the DIY cover that I made, but in all honesty, because it's just the right amount of rain where it's enough to be annoying, but enough to not actually call it like pouring rain. So like everything just becomes like wet and slippery, and I found it actually hard to kind of handle the camera. So I mean, I'm sure it'll be fine on like a day where it's just like lightly raining or just a really light drizzle, but this is just, I don't know, it's something different. Like it's not constant, and I don't know, it's just annoying. And yeah, we'll just give this a minute, see how it goes. But we might have to call it quits, but we'll go to the next location and see what happens. So yeah, stay tuned. Hey guys, so those last two spots that I just shot at were at the Windsor Bridge or just around near the Thompson Square area, that little park there. There was actually a fair few people, so I wasn't too sure if I got some good shots or not because I was trying to not get the people in the photo. I don't know if they were purposely standing in front of my photo. There was a few that were just, I was like, you can clearly see I've got a camera, but anyway. So hopefully I got some good shots despite the fact that there was people around there. There were a few good shots I was able to get, like I was able to get down on my knees and get into some awkward positions like I always encourage you guys to do. It's absolutely amazing to see, like the new bridge that was only just completed I think earlier this year or sometime last year. So it's still relatively new. It's now completely underwater. Like you'll see in some of the footage that there's debris either side of the rails, and it's probably within hours of being able to flow straight over the top. So it's actually really quite amazing to see. My camera is like officially drenched. It got to the point where I had to start photographing with this just draped over the top of it like that, just to try and keep as much water off it as I can, because I am worried that the water is starting to get inside it. Like I don't mind light sprinkles, but I was probably out there shooting around Windsor for about 2-ish hours, so that's a fair bit of water to be getting inside my camera. So I'm gonna go home and dry it all off and just make sure it's all all dry and there's no water inside it before I put it away in storage. So by the time you guys see this video, it would have been 3 weeks after the floods actually occurred. So hopefully by then everything would have settled down and I would have been back in my house, or fingers crossed we wouldn't have been evacuated in the first place. But so far I haven't gotten anything from my boyfriend, so I'm assuming that we're still safe at home. But yeah, the water is still rising. As you can probably hear outside, it is still raining. So I guess we just fingers crossed and hope for the best. Hopefully this all passes over soon. I think the weather is saying it's supposed to pass over the next couple of days, as in the rain should stop today or tomorrow. Let me just double check on my phone. So yeah, as you can see, like in the Windsor area we've got like another day of rain, and then apparently it's supposed to turn and be sunny. So that should be fun. I reckon it's gonna be humid as hell, but yeah, I guess we'll see how we go. It's definitely different to see, and to be honest, it feels so surreal. And I heard a lot of other people around me like commenting the same thing. Like this is just unbelievable. The sights that you're seeing, like for the second location that I shot at just yesterday, my friend was actually walking up and down that path filming it on her phone. So it's just crazy to see how in like 24 hours it's now completely underwater, as in you can't even cross it and you wouldn't even dare drive a car through it. Like that's how flooded it is. So it's quite amazing to see how quickly it just floods around here. Fingers crossed it doesn't flood too much. I've said that like 1,000 times, but seriously, there's a lot of people who are in strife at the moment. Like there's a few friends, like there's a friend of mine whose house is actually half flooded at the moment because she lives right on the river. So it's getting a little bit scary for people. A few other of my friends have also been like had to evacuate, so that's also a little bit scary. Other than that, my car is getting heaps foggy. So I think that's it from me today, guys. Thank you so much for joining me on this spontaneous documentary journey. Sorry it was a little bit unplanned and wasn't in my usual setting, but hopefully it still turns out to be a good video and hopefully I get some good shots. But it's still really good to do these kind of documentary shots, even if it isn't your normal type of photography, because there's rumors going around that this is like a 1 in 100 year type of flood. So it's definitely worth documenting, because like you can keep it for future reference. Like as I said earlier in the video, there's photos from 1961 where the houses are just completely submerged and all you can see are their roofs. So it's just absolutely breathtaking to have those photos and to look at them later. Like I'd love to look at these in a few weeks time, like when this video eventually releases, and I'd love to see the photos that I've taken like today and compare them and be like, wow, like the water's like absolutely gone now, the pathways are back, you know, houses are no longer submerged. Like it's just great to see like that difference and how crazy the weather can be and how unpredictable it can be and how quickly these events can just change, you know, at the snap of fingers. So yeah, anyways, I'm going to sign off now. I will see you all next Wednesday. Thank you, bye.